Even as a boy, Joe McCarthy was ambitious. Joe always wanted to do something, his younger sister Anna Mae recalled in a 1970s interview. He never kept still. He was always exploding on something. Joe grew up in a large Irish-American family on his father's 141-acre farm. The farm had been purchased for his father, Tim, by his father, who had emigrated from Ireland during the deadly potato famine of the mid-1800s and homesteaded in Wisconsin in 1855. All the McCarthys, Tim, his wife Bridget, and their 7 children, helped to keep the farm going. They raised corn, oats, barley, cabbage, and hay, and had several dozen cows, a coop full of chickens, and a few horses. The 1920s were a prosperous time in America, and the McCarthys did reasonably well, although they never seemed to have any extra money. They were a close family. The boys worked with Tim in the fields and the cattle barn, while the girls helped Bridget with the household chores. Every Sunday, even in the snows of midwinter, the family drove to the nearby town of Appleton to attend Mass at St. Mary's Roman Catholic Church. When he was 7, Joe entered Underhill Elementary School, about a mile south of the McCarthy farm. It was a one-room schoolhouse in which a single teacher taught all 8 grades, usually between 20 and 30 students. Joe was no scholar, but he had a quick mind and an excellent memory, and always got decent grades. He completed the 7th and 8th grades in just 1 year, and graduated in 1923 at the age of 14. Joe was a good-looking boy whose features reflected his Irish heritage. Thick black hair topped his broad face. He had heavy eyebrows, blue eyes, and pale skin. Although he loved a good joke and laughed a lot, his expression could change in a flash from a smile to a frown. Joe was strong physically. His father had taught him how to box when he was 12, and he put this skill to good use in boxing matches with neighborhood boys. In his teens, Joe also liked to wrestle with his pals at church picnics. He never seemed to run out of energy and could get by on just a few hours of sleep a night, but he was dogged by a chronic health problem. From childhood on, he suffered from frequent bouts of acute sinusitis, an infection of the sinuses. It was an affliction he was never able to conquer. The fall after his graduation from elementary school, Joe's parents expected he would go on to high school, but at that point he wasn't interested in any further education. Ready to make his way in the world, he wanted to make some money on his own. He bought 2 dozen chickens with $65 he had earned working for an uncle in his spare time, fenced the birds into a corner of his father's property, and built a shed for them. Joe sold the chickens' eggs to stores in Appleton, and with the profits bought more chicks. Soon, he was making enough money to buy a beat-up used truck. Making deliveries to stores in an even wider area, he increased his sales. By the time he was 17, in 1925, Joe owned 2,000 egg-laying hens and 10,000 broilers for eating, and was driving as far as Chicago to market his eggs and poultry. The future looked bright indeed for Joe McCarthy, chicken farmer.
To keep listening to this audiobook, I've left you a link in the description so you can do it, at no cost thanks to Audible's 30-day free trial.